Mexico City is in chaos right now. Gen Z protesters have come out in their thousands to protest government corruption and cartel violence following the assassination of a mayor who accused the president of failing to crack down on cartels.
Thousands of people have taken to the streets of Mexico City to denounce crime and corruption in the latest anti-government protests. At least 120 people, 100 of them police officers, were injured in the demonstrations.
The protesters turned out in their thousands, filling the streets of Mexico's capital, together demanding change and an end to crime and corruption. For the most part, it was peaceful, but trouble flared at the National Palace, home to President Claudia Sheinbaum, as fences were torn down and riot police attacked as they shielded the building. 120 people were injured, 100 of them police. The movement is being driven by the younger generation, promoted on social media, but all ages marched. Many wore straw hats in solidarity with Carlos Manzo, a popular mayor shot dead earlier this month. He'd spoken out against the drug cartels that terrorise the country, but who often go unpunished.
A Mexican senator bravely went on Fox News to expose the depth of the corruption, confirming that Mexico is in fact a narco state.
To discuss is that Mexican Senator Lily Tellez. Senator Tellez, welcome to Fox Noticias. I'm just going to get right to it. Is Mexico a narco state?
Yes, it is. And we all Mexicans know about it. And Mexicans are afraid of the alliance between the Mexican government and the cartels that have infested our nation.
Can you explain this alliance between the president, her party, the Morena party, and the cartels?
Yes, the party has financed, has given, the cartels have given so much money to these politicians, narco politicians of Morena, to get into office, to get the power. So they protect. The Mexican government protects the cartels. That is why President Sheinbaum doesn't want the strong American leadership to help Mexico defeat the cartels. And also Sheinbaum doesn't want the rest of the world to know what is happening here in Mexico. We are on the steps to be the next Venezuela. She is aligned with Venezuela's dictator, with Cuba, and we are losing our country. They have destroyed our Republican institutions, the democratic state, and we must, I think we all Mexicans want and welcome the support of the United States to assist Mexican people against the cartels that have us all in this crisis with the traffic in fentanyl and migrants.
Texas Sheriff Roy Boyd doubled down on this, saying US investigations confirm that the Mexican government works directly with the cartels.
The thing about it is you have to look at the cartel like this. Cartel is water, and they're going to take the path of least resistance. So when you shut off one avenue for getting things in, they're going to find another avenue. I think that those actions that you speak of go more towards forcing the Mexican government to actually do something. The problem is the cartels and the government of Mexico have been in business for quite some time, that they're now to the point of almost being indistinguishable, because the Mexican government is directly involved in the narcotics trade as well. And we've seen that firsthand in some of our investigations, where the drugs weren't coming from the cartels. The drugs were actually coming from members of the Mexican government. And so I think that the only way to get Mexico to move and do something is to put those pressures on them. But you also have to realize, kind of like when we gave all that money to the Mexican government to go after the Sinaloa cartel, did they go after the Sinaloa cartel? No, they went to the Sinaloa cartel and said, hey, we need to show the Americans that we're actually doing something. Who are the people you want eliminated? And so we basically spent our tax dollars in America to try to eliminate the Sinaloa cartel, and the Mexican government used that money to help the Sinaloa cartel eliminate their competition. So if we're going to deal with the Mexican government, it has to be purely in a punitive measure. It can't be in a a form of a grant or assets, because if you send it south of the border, it's going to be used for the benefit of the cartels.
And with greater access to information, the younger generation is rising up and fighting back against government corruption. The protesters are fed up with President Claudia Sheinbaum's cooperation with the drug cartels that rule Mexico. And they have made no secret of their disapproval, graffitiing narco state on the wall erected around the National Palace. And whilst the protests continue to erupt in Mexico, over in the US, President Trump is not mincing his words, sending a stern warning to the government and the cartels, confirming that he will not hesitate to send in the military.
Are you planning on also potentially launching strikes in Mexico or putting American troops or American personnel into Mexico to deal with it?
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. I've been speaking to Mexico. They know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree, unless they're crazy. Exactly how they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine. Colombia has cocaine factories where they make cocaine. Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally. I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
And Congressman Carlos Gimenez agrees, telling CNN that Sheinbaum's government is no friend of the United States.
Trump also said, speaking of Mexico, that he would be okay launching strikes in Mexico to stop the flow of drugs. What was your response to that?
My response to that is we need to pick up the phone and call Sheinbaum, President Sheinbaum. She's got protests in her own country now. Her people have finally woken up to the fact that she may be involved in this too. Look, the cartels that control the northern part of Mexico not only have been shipping this poison and facilitated the shipment of this poison into the United States, but also help with the mass migration of millions of people into the United States. Her government is no friend of the United States, and yes, her hands are dirty too when it comes to the killing of American citizens. And so I would call her and say, hey, you got 2 weeks, man, to clean up your act in the northern border, or else, I've got to protect my citizens. And again, President Trump has to protect the American citizens because that's his #1 duty.
And the people of Mexico agree also, pleading for Trump to take action to dismantle the narco government.
I see your sign, and it says that Trump and Marco Rubio need to come after the cartels. What is your opinion about that?
Yes, it's necessary that Mr. Trump and Marco Rubio must understand that Mexico people, citizens, are derided by government of Mexico.
Do you believe that this is a narco government?
Yes, I believe it's necessary that help us to the citizens from Mexico.
Do we need help?
Yes, please. This is the reason that I say SOS. Help us, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.